This is Qcknd. This is 5FactFriday.
Hey everybody. So it looks like John wants to be a part of 5FactFriday, and I didn't force you to do it. I didn't yank your chain here, but so everything from 5FactFriday, everything from Snapchat and Tumblr, we put together, we made some notes, and we came up with some questions that we can both kind of answer together. So, let me just pull up the first question so I can read it in its entirety. At first, I felt like a little bit of hesitance, but so the first question I got says, being an inspiration to so many people, how does that make you feel, and has being famous changed who you are in any way? If so, how? And the reason I didn't really know what to do with this question at first was because I don't feel like anything has really changed for me. In the grand scheme of things, I still have like a pretty small channel, kind of like a lower subscriber rate, and so far like nothing really like famous person has happened to me. Most of the people in my class don't really even watch my videos. I walk around outside and no one knows who I am, so there hasn't really been a moment of like celebrity to what I do. It really doesn't feel much different than anything before. Honestly, when my Tumblr was a little more popular, I experienced a lot more celebrity with that, but I'm glad John is here to help me with this question because maybe you can lend something to it. Like, have you had any feelings about like me being on YouTube and like me being like famous, or have you changed in any way since it began?
I mean, you just got me to be more okay with social media and stuff like that. Like, I'm kind of a private person. I don't really like, I don't know, hearing my own voice or seeing pictures of myself or anything like that. But you made it kind of fun. It's cool. I mean, it really opened me up to this kind of stuff that for no other reason would I've ever really been that into. Well, I mean, not that I wouldn't have been into, I wouldn't have gotten into it.
Yeah.
You know, I watch like YouTube channels and stuff like that, and I mean, every time I'm fixing shit on the car, I YouTube a lot of stuff, and I don't know, it took me a little bit to come around to it.
Yeah, and like the same way that auto and kind of like mechanical videos are beneficial to you, like I know that a lot of people have reached out to me and told me that like there was something I said or a way that I said it that brought comfort to them, and it's cool that like you can watch videos that are like nuts and bolts, but there's also videos out there on YouTube that can help people like just to cope and just to understand themselves, and I think that that's cool. And like, so if you go on YouTube and start to type Qcknd, one of the like automatic, the way it like finishes it in the search bar, Qcknd's boyfriend comes up as one of the search results. Like, people are dying to see what you're about. So much so that it is like a generated, it goes Qcknd's tattoos, Qcknd shark, and Qcknd boyfriend.
People really like the shark, huh?
People like the shark. They want to know about it.
Martin's damn good. So number 2 is, does your life have a purpose?
Okay.
Look for that question.
So pulling this up, I believe this was a question from Tumblr. So this came directly from Tumblr here, and this is, I've got a question for 5FactFriday. Do you feel like your life has a purpose? I'm in a stage where my life where I just graduated school. I'm not going to uni because I don't know what I want to do, and I don't have a job. I feel like I'm just waiting for the days to end. You seem like you have insightful answers to all your 5FactFriday videos. Do you have any advice for me? If not, I hope you had a lovely day. So, like I said before, I think that like a lot of people reach out with questions like this before because maybe I've said something like, I dropped out of college, look at me, or like I'm in beauty school and I'm at like a point in my life where even though I'm 25, I'm like, I don't know. I don't have like all the answers, but I feel like I do get a lot of questions like this before this. And I'm glad that John is here to kind of help me out with this, because you are a person who is like in our age group, and even though you didn't graduate high school and you don't have your GED, I feel like you've found like a lot of young success. Like you're a homeowner, you have 2 trucks, and I don't know, I feel like you really have an understanding and you have things to really offer this world. Like, what advice would you give to somebody who just graduated high school and they don't want to go to college?
I hate to give some cliche words of wisdom, but everything's kind of what you make it. Like, and I don't know. Nobody told me like this is what you should do with your life. It was kind of like, oh, scholastically I'm not getting very far, so I gotta use my hands. I don't know. I have to apply myself and I don't know, try and find a way to get through what I'm doing. And building stuff, I don't know, I've always been good with my hands, and for some reason all the stuff that didn't really make sense in school makes sense when you're applying it to the real world. So
yeah, I feel like I said this to you the other day, like when I was like 16, 17, 18, like going to school and stuff, I wasn't in the right mind frame to learn. I feel like I was too, I don't really say like self-absorbed, but I was really into like seeing myself and like worrying about like my mental state and things growing like inside of me like that. And I would go to school every day and it was just like not good timing to be in social studies, because I was trying to figure out like, why can't I sleep at night? So I think that when I got older, when I was in my 20s, it was my first time that I was like energized and excited to learn. So even like going to college right out the gate, like right out of high school, I feel like it kind of puts you at a little bit of a disadvantage if you're a little bit like me and just like trying to figure out, like, not to say like who you are, but trying to figure things out. Like maybe school isn't right for you now, and maybe school isn't right for you ever. But I just feel like my adult mind like didn't kick in for a while, and expecting an 18-year-old to like figure that all out is just crazy. And I know people say it all the time, but I don't know.
I know exactly what you mean. Like, it took me a long time to realize, like, what I'm doing isn't just a job. It's my career. It's my livelihood. It's all that, you know? Because I remember being 16, 17 years old working, and it was always like, hey, stop sitting down. Hey, stop taking breaks. Hey, stop doing this. Stop doing that. And I was just like, all right, leave me alone. But it took me a while to realize, well, I mean, to realize that this is what I want to do. This is, I can't just be sitting on my ass. The days aren't going to pass by me. I got to, I don't know, make something of it.
Yeah, I don't know, like, how many coffee shop jobs and how many restaurant jobs, like, I needed to have before it really inspired me to reach for something else. But working at coffee shops, like working at McDonald's, like I used to think that's what I wanted to do. So these like little jobs are still like good stepping stones to figure out like where you want to go. Or like John, like when you were 16 and 17, you didn't know that that was going to be your career because you were like, I don't know.
I had a pretty good idea. It was what I was stuck with. I mean, it was like, well, school doesn't work for me, so I knew I wanted to work with my hands. It was something that I've always been good at. And, I mean, growing up, I always had to do, like, I guess, like normal people have chores. I had, like, oh, the sewer line's backed up, go snake it, or, like,
I think
there's
that's
a hole
crazy.
in the wall, fix this, or change my oil, change this flat, like, that kind of stuff. So it was kind of like, it got to a point where I was like, okay, school doesn't work. I'm either going to enroll in an automotive tech program, or I'm going to stick to building things. And I mean, I really like building things. It's really rewarding, and It's challenging in every way, every day. Mentally and physically challenging. Keeps me on my toes.
So we got one question from Tumblr that was like, do you even drive? And it says like, do you know how to drive? Do you ever drive? Something like that. And yes, I do drive. I drove for years. I had a 98 Monte Carlo. It was my first car, and I loved that thing to death. Literally to death. It died, and like it had a leaky radiator, and when I met John, he was like, I could have fucking fixed that. But I didn't really know.
Totaled the car out for like $150 part.
So I totaled my Monte Carlo, like totaled it out.
And well, actually, no, it was like a 98, so it might have been more than $150. I know, like my Bronco. Well, did it have AC?
Yeah.
It's probably like a $300 radiator.
Still though, like I would pay $300 to have that Monte Carlo back. But so yeah, I had a car. I've had my driver's license since I was 16. The law has changed now, but in Pennsylvania, back in 2006, like, you could get your driver's permit and your license once you turn 16. So I've had my license for like 10 years. But I moved to Philadelphia, so I wouldn't really have to drive as much anymore. I do like commute on my bike a lot. And yeah, I mean, the Bronco is half mine. So the Bronco is stick, and I don't really confidently know how to drive it. Like,
you can.
I can drive. Yeah, I can drive it.
You
but
overthink everything because whenever somebody's talking to you, you're fine. You just drive the whole day. You're just, no problem. But if you're left to your own devices and you think about it, like, oh, should I clutch? Should what?
Yeah. When he was teaching me how to drive, there was one night where we drove Brianna home. And she was pop, 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 pop in my ear. And the whole time I was like, okay, yeah, what did the dress look like? Oh, okay. But, I mean, before that, yeah, like, we were, like, driving through Fishtown, and I stalled out so bad that I just, like, had a mental breakdown. And I just died.
Well, we were stuck in front of a SEPTA bus, and they can kiss my ass. I wouldn't care if we just left it there and blocked the street so they couldn't get around. I really don't like SEPTA. But no, I mean, I kind of tricked you into driving on the street anyway. You're like, oh, I'm not ready. I was like, oh, we'll just go down here. We were on the street, like driving in traffic for like an hour and a half. Yeah, you were. Yeah, no, you did fine. And that's the truck. That's with a hydraulic clutch. That's easier to drive.
Yeah, I would say like in an emergency, and this is what I think of all the time. If I was in The Walking Dead, I feel like the confidence would come to me and I could fucking just drive that car out of here. But when it's just like John and I, and it's like, do you want to drive? I'm like, no. You're better at driving.
You get in fights. I'm just like, yo, drive. I know you can drive. Stop it. Just drive.
I think, so for anybody who's trying to learn stick and their like significant other offers to teach you, I think just no. I think the worst fight we've ever been in were like learning how to drive stick.
I don't think we really got in fights. I think you just said some shit and I was like, no, do this now. And you did it and that was it. Like, or even when you had like the breakdown, we blocked the SEPTA bus. Like, I think I slammed the door maybe, but like you were just like, I can't do it. And I was like, oh, fuck. I like got out. I was like, move over. And like you moved over and I just drove away.
There's like...
And like... there was maybe like 30 seconds of us not talking, and I was like, I've done that before. Everybody's done that before. That's what it is. You don't gotta you don't gotta worry about it that much. It's not easy. I mean, the way I learned was I bought a piece of shit truck. There's the rocker panel is hanging off of that truck.
We don't know what rocker panel means.
When you open the door, this door sill that was hanging off.
Cute.
And it had like 290 something thousand miles on it, and the transmission sounded like a cement mixer. There's something really, really wrong with every aspect of that truck. But I guess that kind of gave me the confidence. I was like, alright, I'll just beat the hell out of it. I did. It was quite a was an interesting truck. Had a no fear sticker, but it was
Oh,
like
badass.
it was like ghost no fear. I don't know. It was fucking cool.
There's a story that I tell the girls at school, like when we were learning stick, like back in the heat of it, where the things coming out of my mouth like should never be spoken to you. You deserve so much more.
Damn right.
And I said some terrible things. And when we got home, everything seemed alright. And we got home, and then you were like, have a seat. And I had sat down, and you were like, you can't speak to me that way.
I mean, I'm fucking calm through all of it. I'm always just like, yo, listen, like, that's not alright. I'm not just trying to fuck with you. I'm trying to, like, actually bestow upon you information that's beneficial to your existence on this planet.
You can't speak to me that way. Have a seat.
I don't think, I don't know. Maybe you felt like things are pretty bad. I took it for what it was. I know it's frustrating. Like, I remember, like, trying to go up a hill for the first time driving stick, like, from a stop. Just being like, fuck. God damn it, like punching stuff and yelling.
I think if you asked me right now to go outside and drive up a hill, my head would just explode, so I wouldn't have to do it.
No, the first time I tried to make you do it, you did it every goddamn time. It blew my mind. Because that's like the hardest thing, is starting on a hill. They like put you at the bottom of a hill, and I was like, alright, you won't be able to do this. Give it a try. And you're just like, I was like, what the fuck?
I told Brie that story that, like, I drove home, I aced it when she was in the car, and then later she was, like, talking to her client, and she was like, I helped Amanda learn how to drive stick. Oh, like, I thought it was funny because, like, she did help.
No, she really did.
So we got a question that said, what was your experience getting your first tattoo, and what's the significance behind it? So I think John and I both have really different experiences with our first tattoo. The thing about my first tattoo is I had it removed. I can leave some links for my like tattoo removal vlog. Like, John was there, but I don't really have that tattoo anymore. I can kind of show it, but
it's still there.
It's still there. Like, it needs like at least another session.
It is you can tattoo over it.
Yeah.
But it's still there.
It's still there. My experience with my first tattoo. So I was 16 and my mom signed for the tattoo. Oh. And like I tell, so if you've ever reached out to me for tattoo advice and said something along the lines of, I turned 16 this month, I've probably told you something like, wait until you're 18, wait until whatever. Like, I had my first tattoo removed. So don't get any ideas from the story, but I was 16, my mom signed for it, and I got a tattoo on my back. And I got it at, like, a local, like, take walk-ins kind of shop. And I couldn't even tell you the guy's name for any reason. I got it done in Hatboro, Pennsylvania.
Didn't there used to be an asbestos plant there on the train tracks?
My pop's karate school was in Hatboro.
Huh. Yeah, no. I feel like there was an asbestos plant on the tracks over there.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
But...
Sorry for that.
So I got a tattoo, and I got, like, two kind of black and gray, like, portrait-style manatees together. And I was going to get one, but then I decided to get two so they would, like, keep each other company. Because I was, like, a very sad 16-year-old. And I really didn't like the experience. And I would only know now from being tattooed over and over again, like, what went wrong during the tattoo procedure. Like, the guy outlined the tattoo without ink the first time, and he called it a bloodline. And I was like, yeah, you know what you're talking about. Second tattoo I ever got, I was like, we're not doing the bloodline. And my tattoo artist was like, what? Why would I do that? So that was insane. I think the tattoo, he charged me like a chump price because I wasn't tattooed and I was 16, and like my mom brought me there, so obviously she doesn't know better. So I think we paid like $300 for like one of the smallest tattoos I have, and now it's gone.
It's not one of your smallest tattoos.
I guess it's like the size of like a cookie.
You got a little flash.
Little flash.
Flash.
But I will say this, like, that day, I did feel pretty cool. But I don't know if I was just, like, thinking I was cool because I was 16. But like my endorphins were going. I was like, yeah. For junior prom, I had a tattoo. I was like, I have a fucking tattoo. Look at me. I'm 16. But I'm also happy I didn't get something weirder because I've seen some newborn punk tattoos that are just like very scary. This was like fine as I grew up. I just like I'm gonna get my back tattooed, so I don't want it there. So, what's your experience with your first tattoo?
I don't know. I don't know which one was my first.
Just pick one. Pick one. Pick one that you remember.
I don't know. I found that F on my foot. I think I was like 14, with a needle and ink, and I put an F on my foot for foot, and then I don't know if that was my first one though, and then I tried to do a treble clef, but I butchered that, and then somebody else did that for me later on. But I mean the musical note was probably the one that or the treble clef was probably the one that I actually wanted first. It was, at the time, you know, I was playing a lot of instruments, and I don't know. I guess I was trying to learn how to read music at the time too. And it was something that was kind of interesting to me. Yeah, I don't know.
What happens when you see like people with treble clef tattoos? Are you like, bro?
It's different. They don't have one that they tried to do on their own first. That's just butchered, and you can't even tell what it is, and it's upside down.
Is it upside down?
Yeah, it's the one that's down. It's totally upside down. That one's right.
Okay. Alright. I'll have to show a clip for the people.
But I think that F was probably first. I think that was like I'm afraid to do it, but I have a needle and ink, and I was like, But I got hair on my foot that grew over it. I didn't know about it until I met you, actually.
I know.
Yeah, you were there. I forgot about it.
I think we only have one question left.
This club banger right there.
Let me read it. Okay. So I got this one on Tumblr here, and this says, is there a moment/time frame in your life that really changed the direction of your life journey? For example, something you went through that made you see things differently, etc. So do you want me to go? Do you have an answer?
I don't know if there's anything an exact something that changed my view on life and
your life journey.
Yeah. No, I think I just used to be real. This is actually kind of.
Is it TMI?
No, it's just it doesn't. It's kind of morbid to look at the world in the way that. So at one point, I was depressed and didn't really have too much like drive to do whatever, and I just kind of realized, like, they're my problems. The rest of the world doesn't care about them. Things are only going to get harder as you grow up, so you got to kind of deal with it, and things are only going to be as hard as you let them get. Like, if you put the work in to make what you want out of your life, things are going to be alright. Be happy. Why not? But, that was kind of the point in my life that gave me an idea of where I was going, gave me a purpose or whatever.
How long ago was that?
I have no idea.
What did it starts every morning?
No, I don't know. It's probably like in my early 20s. It's kind of like probably before I got the job I'm at now. Because I had to be working at the job I'm at now for a little bit, because I remember still being kind of sour towards people who had it easier than I did. I remember I was doing this job, and we're up on a roof, and we're in like the Fairmount part of the city. There's all these goddamn rich college kids. It was spring break, and they were having a great time, and I was like, the hell, you know, like I could have gone to college. I could be doing that right now, just pissing away my life, getting drunk and spending my parents' money, which I couldn't. I obviously couldn't spend my parents' money because I didn't have it. And, you know, like at some point soon after that, I realized that there's no point in being bitter towards the people that have what you don't have. And
I still have to shake that.
it's just everything is what you make it. Like, I mean, I found you help me out, you support me and all that. And aside from just the will of forcing yourself to do what you have to do to.
And you've been listening to Drake a lot lately, so that's probably helping you.
Connor made one joke about a Drake song. I don't like Drake. You know what I listen to is goddamn Screamo. What about you? What do you got going on in this scenario?
I don't know, because I feel like I have an epiphany like every 5 years, and like my life changes, and I'll get off track and I'll get comfortable in a terrible situation, because my downfall, I feel like, is how comfortable I feel like at my lowest. Like,
being content.
It's hard because when I'm depressed and just feeling like nothing, when I'm at my lowest, there's like a comfort that nothing worse can happen. And sometimes I live in that feeling for a very long time, and I've always been the person to pull myself out of it, but I'm also the person who pushes myself into it. Does this light help?
I like that.
No.
I like that was the exact opposite of what brought me to my conclusion. That
it should have been like this the whole time.
Right now is the easiest point in my life, and it's only gonna get harder from here. You have to kind of just make it what you want it.
For me, like, when I was 18 and I moved to Texas, when I was there, like, everything unfolded for me, and like I was on the honor roll, and I was in symphonic band, and I had a car, and I had a job, and everything felt so easy, but I felt so alone and isolated, and my support system wasn't there. And that's when I moved back to Pennsylvania, because when I was in Pennsylvania, like, I wasn't going to go to school, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any money, I didn't have a place to live, and I was just going to, like, be a piece of shit. Like, I was so fine with that. So when I moved out, I hated it, but when I moved back, it, like, gave me something that inspired me to, like wake up. And
I guess you saying moving back here was the point that changed everything for you. I guess it was getting the job I'm at now. Because before that, I was just a giant pile of shit.
Yeah, like...
I wasn't doing much productive in my life. Yeah.
But, like I said, like, this happens to me, it's like a cycle. And, it's like, I had to be at my lowest in order to... I don't know, but now I feel like without all those, like, experiences, though, I wouldn't know, like, when I have it well and how to take care of and, like, preserve something that's good, because every pitfall, like, has value to it.
It wasn't quite my experience. I mean, I feel that, but my, like, low point was much more self-destructive actions through depression.
Yeah.
Damn, this question got real.
I know. It really did. And now the lighting's perfect for the last question. So stay tuned tonight. John and I are going to go through all of the Quiet Quote Contest entries. Surprise, John is the other judge, and Livia, of course. So John is the other judge, and Livia, and we're going to go through the contest entries together, and we're going to pick some of our favorites, some of our highlights, and of course the winners. Stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for everybody who participated in the Quiet Cool contest. I think it's been really awesome. Thanks to everybody who incorporated John. How do you feel about that?
Feel famous.
Feel famous.
Or something.
Thanks everybody for your questions. You can always submit on Tumblr, on Snapchat, and I also have a 5FactFriday playlist, so go through that and see if your question has already been asked before. I got a couple questions like that this week, so I did not ignore you. Your question has been answered. So don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you're into it. Thanks so much to John for wanting to be in this. I know that it was unexpected. If you ever have any questions for John, please let me know. Put them in the comments below so yours truly can read them and feel a type of way about it.
Yeah, next time I get drunk taking an OSHA course.
But yeah, thanks everybody, and until next time.
I'm Qcknd.
No.
This is 5FactFriday.
No, just say goodbye. Bye. What shirt is that? Why?
Just cause.
Does this have to do with Steve?
Mm-mm.
Could it do with Steve? Why? You look like Snack. Now you look like Snack. So, this is 5FactFriday.